Hey, Green Machine friends and fans of fun. So we've got the comic reviews for this week, and a lot of really good comics, actually. A ton of really good comics. So we'll start off this week's review with Black Cat, and Black Cat. Oh, we got a guest in here. We got Brett Davis. Yeah, that's your name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it right. It took me a minute. One of our regulars, though. Yeah, so he's gonna be here, so we might have comments off to the side, but that's fine. Black Cat is a number one this week and was an awesome showing, a really good showing. It pretty much dived into the character of Felicia Harding and her team and how she's come to be, and even one of her mentors. And it was a really good showing, and the art was amazing, and it wasn't just one story either. There was about two or three, including one about her mentor pissing off Dracula, which is kind of funny. But yeah, this comic is a great showing, and I think everybody should be jumping in on this one. As a number one, it's good, but Marvel fan, it's good if you're DC and you want to dip your toes in something that feels like Catwoman because, well, it's another Catwoman. This is a good pick. So next, we're gonna talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Have you read any of this stuff?
No.
Oh man, the Buffy stuff is great. So if you can't tell from the cover, Xander has been turned into a vampire, and the Buffy gang kind of has to deal with that. And I think their goal is to maybe tie his soul to his body so he doesn't turn all evil. But I don't know if that's gonna. I don't think that's gonna cure his vampirism. Have they ever cured vampirism in this story? Like, I don't. Did you watch Buffy?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember him ever curing it. Like, they would give vampires souls, but. So at any rate, Xander might actually be a vampire from here on out, which is kind of a cool thing. So yeah, Buffy stuff. If you're not in on this Buffy stuff, it's only issue 5. You could really jump in anywhere with this stuff. Each one seems to play out like a typical TV series episode, and the art is really good. Like,
that card stock is good too.
yeah, the card stock is good, but I don't know. I really like the way the artist plays with light. Like, there's something to be said with how they do that, and I think that's really important in a story about vampires and stuff like that. Good and evil.
Shout out those C covers.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Oh, the sea covers,
Yeah,
the hunters throughout history. Yeah.
This month's is the Philippines.
The Philippines, yeah, this month. Last month was Louisiana, I think.
Yeah.
That one I kind of think was the weakest one of all of them.
Yeah, because they had Netherlands, they had Italy. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're good, dude. Next, we're going to do War of the Realms number 5. And, man, we need to really talk about Jason Aaron's direction on everything because this guy is murdering it. Like, these books are so good. Each one of them. Do you remember how, like, the tension on the first one was, like, building up and how good that was? And it doesn't stop. Every single one of his issues, like, it plays out like a really good action movie is what it feels like. And there's just a lot of pieces in play in this one. So this one, I don't know how much it's hard to say without spoiling stuff. Let's just say that Tony Stark has a dwarf, what is he calling, the War Dwarf Army? There's a bunch of dwarfs like that are like doing like the Iron Legion type stuff.
All right.
It's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil most of this. There's a lot to be seen here. I think the first thing you need to know is that we all know Jane Foster is going to become Valkyrie, right?
Yeah. I think
So-
you can check out a preview on it now too.
That shouldn't fool anyone that Jane Foster is becoming Valkyrie. You need to pick this up because that might be in play. More importantly, like Thor is, he's growing as a character. He's doing something that's very Odin, I guess you could say, and involves the World Tree, and that's all I can really say on it. Like, I can't say much more. Go pick this up. It's so good. And I hate to say it, but even though it's 5 issues deep, if you haven't been reading this, go get it anyways. Like, it's still a really good read. I think I skipped 2 of the issues, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, on top of that, those ones you can jump in anywhere because they do good callbacks.
Yeah, they
and
do.
There's good flow.
There's
Great flow.
yeah. So, man, Jason Aaron, God, keep it up, dude. Next, we're gonna talk about Thumbs, which is an Image book, and this is one of the strangest books of the week. It's a really thick book. It's like trade paperback size, so you really get your money's worth with this issue. But on top of that, the storyline is strange. So, stop me if you've heard this one before. A group of kids are playing a bunch of video games. And when they get to a certain level of skill, they get inducted into a secret army.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like sort of Last Starfighter-ish, but they have VR stuff, so they like put it on their faces and like run around with it. And I guess the evil empire in this is the United States. Like they're trying to overthrow the United States. Hooray! Like I don't know. The art was good. The story, it wasn't stellar. It was a little tropey at times, but it wasn't terrible. Like I didn't hate it. So I don't know. And keep in mind, while I say the art was good, this artist relies heavily on mostly black and white stuff with occasional red, and it's sort of a weird style. I mean, like there's a little bit of blue, but
It's like a M. Night Shyamalan thing where it makes reference to something.
well, I think it's just everything that's tied to like the tech, the VR tech. Like you'll see like images on screens and stuff like that. Like they'll show the VR tech like in that color red, and like everything that's tied to it, like the machines and everything else, come out that red.
Okay.
So it's sort of a weird effect, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the art by any means. The storyline just seems a little tropey, and I think I should probably give it like another issue or two before I make a call. But yeah, thumbs, it's okay. If you're hungering for a new Image book, that's a good one. And then we're going to do the weird stuff. So this showed up. We didn't order it. We didn't order it at all.
This week on Random.
So we're going to review it, though. And it's, are you ready for it? It's Shadow Roads by Oni Press. It's weird. Let's see. So this is a Western cowboy and Indian type. Did I say Indian? Native American story. Sorry. Sorry. Political correctness. I'm sorry. I meant cowboy and Native American story. It's a weird one. So it centers around a magic sword that was carved from the bones of a god.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And it's sort of like backstory, and some people have come back from the dead at the beginning, and the way they brush it off too is they're like, "Oh, you're back from the dead." It's like, "Yeah, I'm back from the dead. I could tell you how, but I'm back from the dead," and that's how they deal with it. It feels very,
Mundane.
yeah,
Average.
maybe I don't know. It feels kind of lazy, is what it.
Okay.
So, I don't know. If you're hungry for like a Western story, that's what I should have been calling this, a Western story. It's sort of a weird one. I'm not sure where they're going with this, but I would say give it another issue. There was something else. Long Road to Liquor City was in this.
Oh.
That was a weird short. I guess it's previewing another comic.
Is that next to Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty?
I don't know. It's a bunch of hobos stealing some woman's pie. And she like screams hobos at him at the end. That's weird, dude. Like, I don't know.
Do they do the Looney Tunes thing where they smell it and they just like fly?
It's exactly what happens. Yeah. Sometimes we get weird stuff. There was that Crown Press one, or
Oh, yeah,
Black
Crown.
Crown
Yeah, it was-
one. That was like, I think it was called Lodger.
Be a lodger.
I did not like that book. So this one, I like it better than Lodger, but we wouldn't normally order this. So if you want this book, come get it. Next is Savage Avengers #2, and this one is really one of the best comics that have come out in like the last couple of months, I think. Yeah, it's
Okay.
still really good. It's a little confusing. There are some things that I have never seen happen in a comic in this issue. Wolverine does something to restart someone's heart, which involves like squeezing their heart and bleeding into them, which is weird. Which I don't know if that works, but I've never thought about it. Like, would his healing factor transfer to someone that way? So it was kind of a cool thing to see. So I don't know. I had a really good time with it. Not enough Conan. I gotta tell you, there's like maybe a page of Conan, and him and Wolverine's fight in the first one was like my favorite thing ever. It was so good. Yeah, he hits Wolverine with a keg, or no, he knocks him off a cliff into a distillery with a bunch of kegs, and he like hits him with one, and then he picks one up and like dumps beer onto his face to wake him up. And he's like, and Wolverine's like, "Papa, I need the spinach." Like, it's so good. So yeah, the Punisher is in play. And I think we had a talk about what the Punisher does at the end of it, and we can't spoil it for you.
Okay.
But it doesn't work that way. Is all I'm gonna say. As infantrymen, as soldiers, it doesn't work that way. So that happens at the end of this, and you know it is what it is. But everything else about this book is great, so go pick it up. Okay. Next we have Deceased, and so the first book we need to talk about that. So the way the zombies came into the DC universe was really cool.
Yeah. I dug it.
So if you know anything about the DC universe and the villains, you know that Darkseid is always or was always hunting for the anti-life equation, and eventually he got it, and some stuff went down in the mainline DC universe. But in this universe, he got a messed up equation. Like it was flawed, and because of it, he got infected, and then he infected other people, and more people are getting infected by a techno/biological virus, is what it is. Yeah. So, was it Cyborg that did it? I don't remember.
Cyborg did it, yeah, it was unintentional too.
I was trying to remember that.
Yeah, because as soon as someone whipped out their phone to go ahead and take a picture or do Instagram or whatever, like
It got infected.
went digital.
Yeah. So, it's a really good premise. They're setting up a lot of stuff. I've already seen some really messed up deaths. And
This one ended on a great cliffhanger.
yeah, and this one, it's really cool what happens. One character, I can't spoil it. You have to go pick it up. But one character changes in a really cool way. So yeah, go pick this up, please. This DC stuff is, I'm having a good time with it. I think I got on Reddit and some people were complaining about it, and I'm not sure why. I had so much fun with it. People do complain about everything, but Reddit's I can't even talk. Reddit's comics community is pretty good, yeah, overall, as far as comic communities go. So I was a little shocked that they didn't like it. I loved it, and this one I'm still having a really good time with. So I can't wait to see where this goes.
That is on my buy list.
Yes, and then this, I got to tell you, this is the pick of the week. And that is Justice League Year of the Villain. So the Year of the Villain is finally unveiled in this, and they wrap up the Sixth Dimension stuff, and it's a really cool way they wrapped it up. Like the for lack of a better term, the boss fight was awesome. Really, it was everything I wanted in a comic and everything I wanted from these characters, and it's hard to talk about without spoiling it. So what we knew was that the universe was being destroyed. The universe as we know it was being destroyed. The mainline DC universe was being, what was it, Mitzelplix had been infected and he was undrawing the universe is what it looked like. Like you could see the ink draining from the pages and stuff like that. It was really cool, down to like the pencil drawings. So it was unmaking the universe. Meanwhile, they were in the Sixth Dimension, and the Sixth Dimension was saying that they were going to imprint their universe on top of it, the really good universe, and that was going to be what saved the universe when they got judged. Because the whole multiverse was broken free, and they were going to be judged as either good or evil. So yeah, that's what happened. And Batman betrayed Superman and pulled suns away from him. So Superman was like stuck on a planet in darkness and dying, and that's where it left off. So really grim. I'm happy to say that this comeback was great. It was a great showing. Go figure though, it's Snyder, but the writing wasn't weak at all. It was everything I wanted out of this book. And it leads into the Year of the Villain, which is where Lex Luthor is making his case for why people should champion Doom and people should champion like letting strong people rise, and versus like championing justice and you know what he sees as a weak universe.
So when we opened the store, there was that Legion of Doom issue.
Yeah.
Where they went to the future and it turns out Lex was right.
Yeah, Lex was right.
Are we leading up
And
to that?
yeah. Well, I mean, that's it. It didn't turn out that Lex. He had a dream and he saw it, and he was like so and so. Like, what was it, like, I don't know, 13 or 14 millennia in the future or something, and like they had all like discovered his teachings and followed like his way, and they said that he lost his way. And at the time, Lex was being a hero was what it was. So then he decided he had to go and do Doom because he had a dream. I have cool dreams all the time. I never decide that I'm going to become a supervillain, but, you know, go Lex. But next, we're going to talk about Jughead the Hunger versus Vamp. Oh, and this is I should have said, this is our pick of the week because this book was outstanding. And I don't think we have a lot for the shelf, so yeah. Sorry. Next is Jughead versus Vampironica. So Jughead the werewolf versus Vampironica. And so what we found out was Vampironica never killed Dracula, so she's still a vampire. And then she gets sucked into the Jughead the Hunger universe, where the Veronica in the Jughead the Hunger universe is a vampire herself, or not a vampire, a werewolf herself. And she's off just being a ruthless monster. Yeah. So Vampironica gets pulled into that universe, and Betty and Archie are kind of, I guess, for lack of a better word, they deal with monsters, so they run around with guns. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, and it's only the second book, so really they're just sort of setting the stage, but I still had a really good time with this. But I like all the Archie horror stuff. All of it has been pretty good for me. I don't know why it is. I like this campy universe falling apart. It makes me laugh. I shouldn't call it a campy universe. Like, I think they've come a long way from those old newsprint comics of old. I mean, you can still get those if you want them. We'll order them for you. I don't like them, though.
These are definitely different.
These are way better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one is a really good read. It's not as strong as Vampironica was, because Vampironica was amazing. You remember we were like laughing about how it was like Buffy Part 2 is what it felt like. This one, they're still sort of building, so it's so-so right now, but I can't wait to see where they go with this. Next is Uncanny X-Men. This is the Rosenberg run. It's going to be a short run, isn't it? Because aren't they doing the House of X and Powers of X soon?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to cut off like all the Age of X-Men stuff, right?
Yeah, they're cutting off all of them and consolidating. Well, the Age of X-Men stuff, it went on way too long. It would have been great if they'd just done like a couple issues for each, yeah. But so this one is actually really good. I still had a really good time with this. This is sort of setting the stage for how they all get betrayed, and there's a lot of like back and forth with politics, and it centers around Emma Frost. So, you know, anyone from the Hellfire Club, they go back and forth. Some things are revealed, as in what happened to some of the villains that Cap went and picked up. So that's revealed in this issue, so you need to go pick this one up if you're an Uncanny X-Men fan, because it's got some good stuff in it, and it was a pretty good showing. I had a good time. And I'm saying that as somebody who generally doesn't like the mutant stuff, and I think I'm pretty vocal about that, right? So, yeah. And let's see, the Green Lantern. I'm reviewing Green Lantern. We're on issue 8 for Green Lantern. Now, how should I preface this? I wasn't the biggest fan of the art when it started. The art, to me, felt a little off. It felt sort of like R. Crumb. But I get kind of itchy about really gritty art. We've talked about this before. Like, I don't tend to favor the gritty art. However, the stories are pretty good, and the art is starting to win me over. And this one, it centers around Green Lantern and Green Arrow, and I've actually had a pretty good time with this run. But I think, I don't know, it's the combination of the gritty art and Grant Morrison's weirdness, which Grant Morrison, he needs to grow on you. Like, it needs to be like a slow burn, because usually when his stories start, at least with me, like, I'm totally weirded out by how he starts stuff. And this is no different. Like, it's starting to grow on me. I think I need a couple more issues. However, if you love Green Arrow and you love Green Lantern and you want a story that's pretty self-contained, this is completely self-contained. You can go pick this up and have a really good time with it. Yeah, it's growing on me, okay? And as a Green Lantern Corps fanboy, which Yogi knows I'm a huge Lantern Corps fanboy.
Huge.
Like, I know a lot of Lantern lore, and it's weird, my level of lore for this stuff. I'm starting to have a good time with this finally. And keep in mind, I think the numbers don't agree with me either, because, like, I think this was the second most selling book last month. Yeah. It was, right? Under Batman.
I think the Reddits are all about it right now, too.
Yeah, they're about it, too. I'm still on the fence, so, yeah. But this one's pretty good showing, so go pick that one up.
Not a big shocker, man. You're a Jeff Jones fan, man.
Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones. It's okay, man. Okay, Incredible Hulk, and this is one of the 80 years tribute comics. So this one came out before. Does it sort of tie in with the current Immortal Hulk? A little bit, it feels like. It's an event in Reno. It has Betsy Ross, not as the Red Harpy that we saw, but as
Okay.
the Green Harpy. So I don't think I'd read this arc at all, but it's a pretty self-contained story, and I'm relatively sure this was published before, because most of these 80 years of Marvel, if they weren't published, they were tributes, right?
Yeah, like there was a Legends one that just came out last year.
Yeah, and they all sort of feel like the older, like the art style feels, to me, this feels like the 90s kind of art style. But I could be mistaken. It could be totally new and they just did it that way. I don't remember this story at all, however. But I had a really good time with it. It's totally self-contained, so go pick it up. If you like the Hulk stuff, like snatch it up. But it's not the Immortal Hulk. Like the Immortal Hulk right now is the Rolls Royce of comics, in my opinion. It is I don't know, the best. If you're a Marvel fan, it's the best thing on the shelf. If you're a DC fan, in my opinion, for me, for my money, it's the Tom King Batman. And I know a lot of people don't share that sentiment because Tom King is like a 50-50 split for people. But the Immortal Hulk is amazing. So this one, it's a good side detour. It's a pretty good story. I had a good time with it. Doesn't affect the Immortal Hulk stuff, but they might have been referencing it with the timing of it, is what it sort of feels like.
That'd be a total loss if they did.
Yeah, right? So, it was not bad. Next is a book that I absolutely loved. And keep in mind, I've gushed about it before, but the Young Justice stuff. So Young Justice as a team is back together. We have Connor Kent, who had a wife and a kid. That is explained in this. I'm not the happiest with that explanation, but it's all right. Teen Lantern is explained how she got her ring. I'm really not happy with that explanation at all. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say much more than that. However, yeah, I had a really good time with this still. Like, one of the characters did something hysterical in it, and that was just super good.
This one and the Immortal Hulk sell out within days.
Yeah, it was Impulse. Impulse does something that I mean, it's very Flash-esque. It's something that Flash would do. And as a young Flash, seeing him pull it off was so good.
Yeah, Steve showed me the panels on this one. Oh my god. I
Yeah.
started cracking.
Yeah, it's really funny. So the Young Justice stuff, I keep in mind, my nitpicking for the characters should be set aside because everything else about this is great. And the art is really still top tier in my opinion. I have such a good time with this art. But all these Wonder Comic stuff, anything labeled Wonder Comic is really good right now. So go pick those up. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy, and this centers around Cosmo.
Yay!
And it also centers around all the people that got sucked in the black hole
Oh.
and what happened after, like how they got out, sort of what happens to them after, and it's iffy. This is the annual, and I got to tell you, it's iffy. The story to me felt a little disjointed and a little confusing, but I was happy to see like Nova Star, Quasar, what else? Adam Warlock, all these characters back in play. I was really excited about that. I liked most of their stories, but they just didn't go, like, it didn't really sync well together, and I wasn't happy with how it fit. I don't know any other way to word it. The story just doesn't feel fleshed out. Is the best way I can word it. I didn't hate it by any means. I wanted to like it more, but the other Guardians stuff right now that is out, the mainline Guardians, is so good. So I think when we hold the yardstick of the Guardians annual next to the like mainline Guardians, it's kind of, that's probably why we're holding it to like a higher standard. Still a really good story. Had a pretty good time with it, and I would say go check this out if you're a Guardians fan. Next is, oh yeah, God, this book. Batman TMNT Part 3. So we found out that, God, how do we describe it? Krang the Anti-Monitor, because it's Anti-Monitor with Krang in his stomach, but Krang the Anti-Monitor has decided to fold the two universes together. And in this issue, you find out why. Because there is a multiverse of TMNT universes that all center around the first Ninja Turtles. The OG black and white, gritty Eastman layered Ninja Turtles. Not the Archie series, not the Saturday morning stuff. And so their universe, their multiverse centers around them. So Krang Krang the Anti-Monitor was trying to find that multiverse. And when he did, it's revealed that he found the other multiverse that centers around Superman or Batman. So he actually captures Batman and merges the two universes, and that's why we had the Robins as the TMNT characters. And so it was a pretty good explanation. There's more to it. I probably spoiled too much, but there's more to it, and the way it plays out is really good, and it's nice to see the OG Ninja Turtles like doing something, which was sort of cool to see. So go pick this up, the Batman TMNT Part 3. I'm having an excellent time with it, probably a better time than I had with Part 2, I think, at this point. So go check this out.
And they just came out with the Batman and TMNT movie.
That's right. I haven't seen it yet. We need to watch that. Did I buy it? I think I bought it and we never sat down and watched it.
Did you buy it here? Watched it with you.
I think I bought it and like didn't like click play.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we need to watch that.
All right. Deal.
Okay, so Batman TMNT movie. Go see that. Next is Star Wars Age of Rebellion, Luke Skywalker. And this takes place in between Empire and Jedi. So the events of Empire and Jedi. And it sort of shows Luke kind of being tempted by the dark side and sort of dealing with stuff as both a pilot and a Jedi. And I really liked it. I had a good time with it. Go figure, it's Greg Pak. You know, it's pretty rare that I complain about Pak. But this was a really strong showing. I didn't like it as much as I liked the Boba Fett, and I think it was on par with how much the Jabba one, because I had a really good time with the Jabba one too. So this is a close second to the Boba Fett. But Luke Skywalker, I mean, if you aren't reading any of these Age of Rebellion books and you're a Star Wars fan, I'd have to wonder why, because these are like some top-notch stuff right now. Next is Tony Stark's Iron Man. And this is finally, they've pushed past his arc, which wasn't a bad arc, mind you. And they've gotten to the War of the Realms. Yeah. And so they're kind of explaining what's going on. And Tony's gone a little robot crazy at the beginning of this. And that's all I'm going to say. He's kind of made robot versions of each one of the Avengers. Or multiple.
Wait, that sounds vaguely familiar. Wasn't something like that going on in Journey into Mystery?
Maybe. But who is the Avenger you should never make a robot out of?
Well, like a lot of
Yeah, yeah. So that might happen in this book, so go pick it up. But it leads into the War of the Realms stuff. Honestly, it wasn't my favorite of all of the War of the Realms stuff, but it was a lot better than what's been going on, I think, lately with the Iron Man stuff. Although I did like the way that event wrapped up. The build-up to the the arc, the way it wrapped up. The build-up to that arc was kind of weird. Although the old-school Iron Man in that one was pretty good, too.
All right.
Yeah, anyways. So what I'm trying to say is if you're an Iron Man fan, go pick this up. It's the perfect jumping-off point, and finally he's in the War of the Realms stuff, so go grab this. I mean, he was in it, just his title wasn't in it. You know what I mean? Okay. Next is Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys the Marvel History. And old Frank Castle, Cosmic Ghost Rider, has been telling stories about how he's changed the Marvel history. And it seems like he's BSing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like he's BSing. And he's telling it to his old family because it's the day before they all get slaughtered. Why? I don't know. Like, that's what he's been doing. And Frank Castle comes home and meets Uncle Fredo. So, yeah, Frank Castle Punisher comes home and meets Uncle Fredo, Frank Castle Ghost Rider. And immediately knows there's something wrong. And that's where this book picks up.
Okay.
Yeah.
This feels like paradoxical.
Yeah. So if you want to know the parodies that they're doing, because they did like Fantastic Four, they did Spider-Man. The parody in this one seems to be Nick Fury and the old Nick Fury World War II comics. Nick Fury and the, what were they called? The Howling Commandos. Good job, dude. Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos. And then it's also got some of the early Cap in there as well.
I see him with the shield.
Yeah, Cap's in there too. So it's a pretty good showing. I'm having a good time, but something might be revealed. Maybe he's not BSing. Something might have been, might have gone wrong. So yeah,
Living Tribunal, maybe.
Maybe someone's been watching. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, go pick this up. It's pretty good. I know I dug into this pretty hard because it felt like the story wasn't going anywhere. It was just Cosmic Ghost Rider BSing. That, for the most part, hasn't changed, but they're building to something kind of funny. So I think there's a big punchline coming. So yeah, go pick this up. It's pretty good.
Yeah. If you're a Deadpool fan, pick that up because that reads a lot like Deadpool.
It does, and I think that for good reason. People thought that Cosmic Ghost Rider was going to turn out to be Deadpool.
Dude, I got some money on that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Our last book of the week is Captain Marvel: War of the Realms, and I honestly love this. I love this for how humanized they made Captain Marvel in the middle of it, because like she gets called in, like some stuff's going down and Black Widow's like, well, I don't want to make the call, but I'm gonna make the call. So she calls up Carol Danvers, and Carol Danvers is like, man, I've been up for like 3 days. She's like, what time is it? And they're like 2. She's like, I've been asleep for 11 minutes. Because she's been in like all these fights, like in every book. So I really like that. Like it's a good showing. And the way this is playing out is really weird. I don't want to... So some of the characters sort of see the future and they think something's going to happen, and then something strange happens. Something very... I don't know how to word it. Something very old school cartoony happens. But I liked it. It was a really good thing, and I think I want to see how it plays out. So yeah, Captain Marvel: War of the Realms, pretty good showing. I think as far as the Captain Marvel books, because this is 6, right? They had that weird apocalypse dystopian beginning. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was very Mad Maxy, and I'm glad they're past that because this fits Captain Marvel a lot better, and I'm having a lot more fun with it. And I guess that's all our books for the week. We'll do the drawing real fast. Brett, you could win instantly. Yeah. you could win a poster like right now. If we drew your name. Oh, here's the Black Cat poster. You can't win that one.
Hold on, give me a second.
What's wrong? Just give me the box, dude. Just hand me. No, you don't have to put them all back.
Pomp and circumstance. I mean, pomp.
All right. I guess
Flair, man. Gotta have some flair.
we're fixing things right now. Behind the scenes, we had to move all the stuff out. So now we're fixing it. You gotta look it up still.
Yeah.
Wow, I really had to spin that. They were all like stuck together.
Wheel of morality.
189.
Okay, Kevin Clow.
Kevin
Cole. Kevin Cole.
Kevin Cole, you won a poster. Next one is 216.
Ivy. Ooh.
Ivy Ow? Ivy Ooh?
Yes.
Ivy Ow?
Suck at that pronunciation.
Ivy Ow, you won a poster. And then 47.
And Ashley Lentata.
Ashley Lentata, you won a poster. So if you heard your name called, come pick up your poster or come pick out your poster. And that's all from us for this week. Oh, what do we have to announce? Mario Kart?
Well, Mario Kart coming this Saturday.
We need to really announce that. So we have a Mario Kart tournament Saturday. Bring your Switch. We don't know how many people we can have play at one time. So please bring a Switch and come down and play in the tournament. We'll try to have a good time with it.
Also, ordering and everything, the 2-week grace now.
Oh, and we have to change our policy on special orders because some people have been sort of I guess treating us like a credit card is the nice way of putting it. So from now on, we're going to be doing a higher deposit for special orders. It's going to be 25%. And then you're going to have a 2-week grace period to come pick up your books. If you don't pick them up after 2 weeks, we will try to reach out to you during those 2 weeks. If you don't pick them up, it goes on the shelf and you lose your deposit. And we're sorry, but that's just kind of what we need to do because we need to survive as a business. So, and that's everything from us this week. Sorry it ended on such a bummer of a note.
Good news somewhere? What's going on? Movie-wise, MCU, there's a new character that's supposed to be coming in.
Oh, okay. So, it has been announced that Moon Knight will play a pivotal role in, what is it, Tier 5? Phase 5.
Yeah.
Phase 5. So, Moon Knight is going to be in it, and from what I understood, they're going to have a lot of Moon Knight in it. And Moon Knight is one of our favorite characters in the store. He's got mental health issues, so I really like him. But his mental health is like dissociative.
personality disorder.
multiple personality disorder, dissociative personality disorder, I think
But
is
on
what it's
top
called.
of that, he's got like an Egyptian god.
He's,
looking
yeah,
for
he's
it.
got. So it's never quite explained if his hallucinations are the actual magic tied to his lore, or if he's actually having like issues. I think he's actually got schizophrenia on top of that.
Yeah.
And in the last Moon Knight run, he legit gets drugged too, which that was like man, way to pile some bunch of stuff on that mess. But he's also, if you don't know this character, he is essentially Marvel's Batman, and
He's been called that.
that's how he plays out, and he's grim and gritty. Like if he was taken from the Marvel universe and thrown into the DC universe, he would thrive. Trust me. But
Yeah.
as a Marvel character, he's sort of flown under the radar, and for a long time we've been asking like, when are we going to get a Moon Knight TV show? When are we going to get like a Moon Knight movie? And
I thought for
finally,
sure an
it's going to
Iron Fist,
happen.
but no.
So yes, that's what we heard. That's the good news for this week. So what else? Did we hear anything else?
Movie-wise, haven't heard anything.
We heard that I heard a rumor from a regular. I don't know if it's true, but he said that they're gonna be focusing one side cosmic